You're listening to Cash and Sass. I'm Lisa Marie, your go-to gal for all things money. As the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind the Sassy Wealth Coach, I'm here to take you on a thrilling ride from the financial chaos to sassy and sexy money. Hey, my sassy friend. Welcome to another episode of Cash and Sass. My name is Lisa Marie. I'm the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind the Sassy Wealth Coach and this podcast. And today I'm going to be talking to you about savings. Yeah, I know. Okay. Just bear with me though, okay? There is a lot of talk about how just a couple of years ago, how according to the Fed's 2022 economic well-being, the U.S. households survey released that maybe 37% of Americans lack savings accounts. And here's the thing that everybody is talking about. Oh, we need to have an emergency savings. We just need to have this one savings account. And I want to stop and say no. Okay. Lisa said no. Lisa disagrees. Yes, I am telling you that. What I want to talk to you about instead of building the emergency savings, why not have several savings accounts for specific things? So hear me out. Instead of having just one emergency savings, why not have a savings account for vehicle savings, a savings account for your kids, school supplies, those kind of things, a savings account for health care, and then one for like your house savings. So if you you own a house, so maybe if you got your property tax or your homeowner insurance, if they're not included, or just having money in there for when appliances may go out, that kind of thing. The reason why I say have multiple savings accounts is because several things can be an emergency, right? I mean, there's all kinds of different emergencies. So I suggest having these different savings accounts because then if, for example, I had to replace a freezer, that came out of my house savings, but it didn't have to come out of my rainy day savings, which is what I call my emergency savings. So my rainy day savings is to help replace my income if something was to happen, even as an entrepreneur, okay? Is there the whole thing in there that I would want in there? No. And that's also okay. There's still money in there and money keeps going in there. The house savings, I needed to touch to replace the freezer. However, that means it didn't affect anything for the rainy day. It also didn't affect anything for my vehicle savings. It didn't affect me having the money for my girls' school supplies or clothes, or I have an account for my fur babies. It didn't affect that account for my fur babies, which is for emergency vet and their yearly vet. So it didn't affect any of those things. And that gives you peace of mind, right? I don't know about you, but I like knowing, okay, that wasn't a rainy day thing. It wasn't needed to surplus the income or anything like that. It was, I needed to replace a freezer. My freezer died. That comes out of my house savings. That's what the money was in there for. And so when we have these specific things, one, you don't necessarily have to pull out a credit card and put it higher up in debt. Now, we're going to have another episode about credit cards and good debt and bad debt and leveraging it and all of that. So I'm not going to get into that today. Today is about how you can start saving, okay? Y'all, I have 15 savings accounts. And you're probably going, what? Hear me out. I started off with 2, okay? Vehicle savings and the house savings. Then I added 2 more, my girls and my fur babies. And then gradually, and then I added healthcare. So I'm gradually getting enough money in there for the deductible. Okay. Now that means it doesn't have to come from my rainy day. And then I already had my rainy day before I opened up these additional ones. I needed a way that I wasn't having to touch the rainy day for some of the yearly things that come up that we forget to plan for, and some of the quote unquote emergencies that can come up. I don't know about you, but my fur babies are my family. So if they all of a sudden get sick and have to go to an emergency vet, that's where we're going. And technically that's an emergency. And so when it has to come out of that, I would get stressed about how the money was going to get back in there. Okay. Me having specific accounts for those things and being able to quote unquote estimate and budget around it and make sure, one, I have enough money in the account. I know how much the vet bill normally is for each of my dogs. So I can estimate what it would be each year for that. And then estimate, okay, if one of them had to go to the vet for an emergency, how much is that normally? And then I would add that in there, divide it by 12. This is how much needs to be going into this account. And then I normally add a buffer, okay? I also include their dog food because we don't have to buy dog food once a month. It's probably every other month. So it's easier for me to it's easier for me to put it in there than it is for me to have it included in my regular monthly money roadmap. So what I want you to think about, Lisa, I don't have you saying, Lisa, I don't have the money to have all these savings accounts. I'm not telling you to start with 50 savings accounts or even 5. What I want you to do is think about how much easier would it be on you if you had a couple of savings accounts, specific, meaning nickname them for these things, and you started putting money in there. So, for example, we'll say our kids. If you've got kids, you've got school supplies, you have clothes, you have, I don't know, you name it. And it seems like they grow out of all this stuff very quickly, right? So what if you were to have an account, call it my kids, I call mine my girls because I just have girls, and you start putting money in there. Now, for reference, when I first started these savings accounts, I started putting $5 a month in my girl's account. And then I gradually, after a couple of months, I would realize I could actually increase that. So I increased it to $5 a week. And then I was able to increase it more as revenue came in. The key is to start, okay? When all these big gurus say have an emergency savings and they say you need to have 3 months and you need to make sure that's all you're putting in there until you have it, okay, that's just not sustainable, especially if you're also paying your bills and you're trying to live life, which you need to be able to do. And so my thing is, one, scratch that. Don't listen to them. Open up a couple of savings accounts. Nickname them. Get used to doing those. What I recommend is Capital One. Capital One Savings is free. It also, you can have unlimited savings accounts. Their interest rate is actually one of the highest on the high yield, which again, I don't use it for the interest. I use it for the buckets, for money to be allocated. However, it is one of the highest yields. So it's a pretty good interest. And it's not attached to your checking account, which means 2 things. One, it means the money is not easily accessible. Okay. So when you go to decide you need the money from there, it's going to take 2 days to get to your bank. If you do it late in the evening, it could take 3. So like if it was 6:30 at night and you moved it, then you wouldn't count that day. You would count the next day as it being moved. So it would be technically 3 days from today, if that makes sense. So it could take 2 to 3 days, which means you're going to make sure that's something you need in order to touch it, which I absolutely love. For me, I have a Capital One credit card. And so if I'm needing it, I can use my credit card and then I immediately transfer the money from that Capital One savings account to the Capital One credit card, paying it so there's no interest on that amount. So it makes it easier because you're able to allocate the money exactly where you want it. So what I suggest is make a list of the different categories that you may want a savings account for. So vehicle, if you got a vehicle, you want a vehicle savings account, okay? If you live in a state where, like I do, where there's property taxes, You want a vehicle savings account. Take what you paid the last year on your vehicle or vehicles, and divide it by 12. That's how much, and then I say round it up. That's how much you want being put into that account for that. And then look at how much you've been paying for your oil change. You want to take that, how many times a year you normally do it, multiply that by how many times a year you normally go, divide by 12, you get the idea. And here's the key. The reason why I'm having you do this is so you know how much you would like to have going in there. And then I tell you, okay, now what can you start with? Because that's where the block is. Because everyone is telling you need to have these accounts, and everyone is telling us that we need to have certain amount of money in there and we need to do this. What I'm telling you is have the number, have it figured out, and then go and say, okay, I can't put that in there yet. However, I can put $25 in there, or I can put $15 a month in there, and then start doing it. Because here's the key. Here's the thing. If you start putting $15 a month in there now, and a year from now, you need tires or something happens, you're going to have money in there, okay, that you wouldn't have had before that's going to help you. And most of us can put $5 a week into a savings account. Most of us. And if you're not comfortable with that yet, start at 15. Okay. And then gradually increase. 9 to 10 times, you're going to start seeing that go up, and you're going, you know what? I've got extra money. I'm going to start putting $25 in there. I actually do have an extra set of thing. I don't have to have it. I can put more in there. And decide if you have like $50 extra. Okay, put 25 in there. You say, okay, I know I'm not going to need to buy clothes or something for my kids right now, but I do want to have that. I'm going to start putting $10 a month. So if you don't have to do anything for a year, in a year, you're going to have $120 in that account to go and get school supplies. Hello. How many times has that upset your monthly roadmap, your monthly budget, or monthly spending or whatever when you've had to go get school supplies? So having it in an account already makes a big, huge difference. So I want you to look at it a different way, okay? I'm going to tell you it relieves stress. I cannot explain how much stress it relieves. It also gives you self-confidence because you look at those accounts and you see them building. Start with 2. And let one of them be your rainy day. And your rainy day savings, you don't touch ever except if it's to help with your income. So start with $5 a month and then gradually increase. Allocate it, okay? If it helps you, make it on an automatic. I don't do mine on automatic. 1 is because I have so many, and 2, it's because if something happens, a decrease in my revenue or an increase in my revenue, whatever, or something has happened and I need to shift how much money is going into each account, then I want to be able to shift it. What I do, however, is I include the amounts on my monthly roadmap as a quote unquote expense, meaning transfer to this, transfer to that. And I make sure I do it. If it's on my money roadmap, it must be done. Okay. And so I include it on there. And it's included as an expense so that I can see everywhere my money is being allocated. This is where I'm saying I want my money to go. And it's a way of basically going down to a zero budget, but not quite doing it down to a zero because I like to have a buffer in my account. However, it is allocating every single dollar somewhere. And I think it's important that, yes, we have those savings accounts. However, I don't think that we need to have just an emergency savings. I think we need to have savings accounts for specific things. Now, here's the cool thing. If you've been wanting to go on a vacation to, I'm going to just say Hawaii, or you've been wanting to go on a cruise and you've been trying to figure out how, you've tried to save and where it's not worked. Okay. Set up a separate savings account. Yes, another one. A savings account and call it specifically Disney World trip or whatever cruise trip. Name it that. So it's there. Determine how much money you can start putting in there. Determine how much money you need in order to go on the vacation. And then again, that's money you don't have to touch because it's not for a quote unquote emergency. It's not for your fur babies, etc. And just keep putting money in there. When you are wanting something and you take the time to look at your money and make a decision of, I want the money to go here because I want to go on this trip, you will be surprised at how quickly it can add up. And y'all, even if you're on a fixed income and it takes you 2 years, think about how you're going to feel when the money is there and you can go on that trip. So I really want you to think outside the box. Stop listening to all the gurus who say you need to have an emergency savings and instead do a quote unquote rainy day savings and start putting money in there. Because I know what's happening is the same thing as me is, I can't put much money in there. So there's no point in me trying because I'll never have 3 months salary or whatever. Okay, here's the thing. Just start. As your situation changes, you will be able to put different amounts of money in there. My biggest piece of advice that I can give is just start. Yes, you need to live your life. And yes, saving is important. And when you're able to have different, what I call virtual saving buckets, you will be amazed at how quickly things will add up into those accounts. I even have one that's called Lisa Spending. I do. I have one's called My Fitness too. So if I need a new kettlebell, or for example, I need a barbell, or I need new workout clothes, if there's money in there and there's enough, then I go and I can get it. And y'all, I only put $15 a month in My Fitness. So sometimes it may take me a few months or it may take me longer. Okay. I have $15 a month in there. I do need a new barbell. It's going to be a couple more months before I have enough in there for me to go get it. So guess what? It stays there and I keep putting money in there. Right now I'm not where I want. Money is going somewhere else that it needs to go. So I'm not willing to change the amount that goes in there. That's how much I've determined can go in there that I can put in there. So, okay, that's what I've done. I have ones called Lisa Spending. $15 to $20 a month goes in there. Again, if I want something, I look to see what how much I have in that account. And if I have enough, I get it. And if I don't, it waits. That way, money is not coming out of my monthly roadmap, my monthly spending, my bills, and going to something else and then screwing up everything, then me beating myself up because I can't pay a bill or whatever. So I invite you to sit down, okay? List out all the categories that you think you would want to have a savings account. Then rate them on which ones you would do first. So rainy day, house savings, vehicle savings, fur babies, kids, trip, whatever. And there's no judgment. Each person is going to have a different list. You may have some that are the same on there, but you're still going to have a different list. Then I want you to rank them on which ones you want to do first. Again, no judgment. If you already have a rainy day savings, then that one doesn't count. You already have it. List which other two you want, okay? One of them could be your house and one of them, or a vehicle, and one of them could be your vacation trip you want to take. Whatever. And then look and see, and those are the two you set up. I cannot stress how I believe the best thing to do is to set it up in a bank account. And like I said, Capital One Savings, there's no fees. It's totally free. It's pretty good interest. And you can have as many savings accounts as you want. And it's not attached to your bank account. I think that's really important because it takes the chance of you touching the money out. And the chances of it actually building up is much greater because it's not as easily accessible. Okay? So rank them, then go open them up. Change the names of them, nickname them. Okay? You can go in the account and you can nickname them. I think you have to do it from the desktop, but either way, you nickname them. And then after you do that, start $5. $5. That's it. Put $5 in there and then put $5 a month in there or whatever amount and just watch it grow. And because you've nicknamed it the specific thing, that reminds your brain that that's what it's for. So for example, if you're wanting new furniture, create an account for new furniture. If you need a new table, call it new furniture. Okay. Now, if you're not going to need new furniture after you've saved up enough money and you've bought the furniture, guess what? You change that nickname to a different thing of whatever else it is you want, and then you put money into it for that. So I have a couple of ones that I call revolving where the names change. So like my vacation trips will change. My daughter's cruise changed to it changed to her college to help pay for her books. So that one won't change anymore. But there's another one, which is our trip, our vacation trip. We take summer every year and we do something new every year. So it's whatever name is on there. And then after we go, I change it to the next one that we're going to do. So I think it's just really, I just want you to try it and see how it goes. We have to be able to make it work for us. And I think I believe the issue is that so often we get this block inside our heads and we get a block up going, well, if I can't save $100 a month or $300 a month, or I can't put 3 months of salary in there, then there's no sense in me trying or no sense in me doing it. And what I want to tell you is that's BS. Just start. Okay? Just start. I promise you, this takes stress off and it makes it so much easier to save. You're able to allocate. You're able to tell your brain, this is what this money is for. Your brain can see it because you've nicknamed it. And it's not messing with your money because you were able to look and say, I can easily put $5 a month in here and it's not going to mess up my monthly expenses. Try it. I promise you, 9 out of 10 times, you're spending more than $5 a month or more than $10 a month on something that you could give up and you don't even realize it. So just try it. I'm not telling you to put $100 a month. What I'm telling you is to create the 2 savings accounts, determine how much you would like to be going in there, so doing the figuring, and then looking and determining, okay, I'm going to start with $5 a month because that's what I'm comfortable with, and just start. And then later, you know what? I can increase this, and then you can increase it, and just see where it goes and see what happens. And I bet you money, as you get used to it, you will end up adding another savings account. So what I want you to take from this is you don't have to have it as do all or do nothing. It doesn't have to be all this way or do nothing. The key is to just start and have separate savings accounts for specific things along with a rainy day savings so that those things don't throw you off kilter when they come up and you're able to see the money in those accounts grow, which gives you self-confidence, which lessens your stress. So I just want you to remember that. The big takeaway doesn't have to be all or nothing. The key is to just start. So thank you for tuning in. As always, I am so thankful that you listened to all my episodes. Until next time, remember, stay sassy, my friend. Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on Cash and Sass. Check us out on social media and on our website at www.thesassywealthcoach.com, where you can download my free Money Story Start Guide. The website again is www.thesassywealthcoach.com. And as always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. And remember, yes, it is possible to have sassy and sexy money. See you next week.